Tracy Swedlow, and this is Televisionation. I am so happy and thrilled and always so excited to talk with Claire McHugh, who is CEO of her own company called Axonista. Welcome to the show, Claire.
It's so wonderful to see you, Tracy. Usually we'd be in San Francisco at this point. We were just talking about that.
We're supposed to be starting TVOT right now. Oh, I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
That's cool.
We're supposed to be in TVOT right now here in San Francisco, but thanks for the actual opportunity to tell everybody that our next event is online. It's a virtual event, September 9th and 10th. Please register, sign up, or call me to participate or sponsor. That would be a good one. Okay.
Fantastic.
Of course, if you are aware of Claire, who is a favorite speaker of ours and industry participant and thought leader and innovator and female CEO. She's from Ireland. So are you in Dublin?
I am in Dublin. I am in my home office where I've been for quite some time. And this is probably the longest I've been at home in years.
That's right. You fly around, you get around to all of the events and hang out. So I'm sure it's good to not be on a plane all the time. I certainly don't mind it. So anyway, there's so much going on. Axonista, which is AXONISTA.com, and it's on the screen right now. You guys do a whole variety of different things, but the main thing you do is...
So the main thing that we do is we have a technology platform called Ediflo, upon which any interactive video experience can be built. And we focus on verticals like shopping, news, media. We've a lot of big customers, QVC, HSN, Sinclair Broadcast Group, Virgin Media, but some small customers as well. We're actually launching a version of our product in September at the end of Q3. Which is a lightweight version that for small media companies to get up and running on OTT super quickly. So we're very excited about that.
I'm super excited to hear about that. But actually, I forgot to find out, we were talking before the call, but is everybody okay there? You guys are all locked down? Are you all distributed in your home offices? And
we are.
Okay in Ireland in general?
I think yesterday was the second day that we had no deaths, which was very, very cool.
Wow.
So we're actually been reasonably stable now for the last while, and we're on phase 2 of our recovery and reorganization into society. And it's good. It's a steady progression. The government has actually managed it pretty well here.
I mean, Ireland just seems to have emerged and blossomed, even regardless of the pandemic, over the last 5 to 10 years. So much activity and new companies there, and people innovating like you are, and it's great to have more companies involved in our space, in the interactive TV, multi-platform TV space. So, and I would call you more of an international player, right? Because you're doing stuff with American companies all the time. Mm-hmm. And so let's talk a little bit about the fact that you do focus on developing interactive applications, and you've always been a proponent of interactive TV. And you have a great publication, by the way, that people should read called Rerun, which you can sign up for, a free email newsletter, sort of all the latest fun, innovative things going on in the world, and to go there and subscribe to on their site. But tell us a little bit about some of the projects. I know you just debuted Fashion Relief TV, which I was looking at yesterday, because you just released it last Friday.
So Fashion Relief TV is a very, very interesting story. It came about because of COVID-19. And usually what happens is this wonderful lady called Lorraine Keane, who's a well-known Irish TV personality.
She's an incredible speaker. She's really star quality, articulate woman. Amazing. Yes.
And a lovely person as well. And she has been running this fashion event with Oxfam for a number of years. And it's usually held in a very big conference center with lots of people coming to donate clothes, pre-loved clothes. And there are some very big items that are on a runway, and people can buy just one of a kind things that they wouldn't find elsewhere. And all the proceeds of that go to Oxfam. So with this year, not being able to have actual events. With Oxfam, all of their shops were shut because they've been closed. And usually what they do is they sell goods that people donate. And of course, you've got everyone stuck at home clearing out their closets. So there's a big supply of product and no way to sort of deliver it. So a way to do it was to bring them online and actually create a TV show where it's not just one big event in person, but it's a multiple event. So it's a weekly appointment to view TV show that you can come to on Friday at 7:00 in Ireland, and go and find some really unique things to buy, and donate and support sustainable fashion and donate to Oxfam. So it's a really, really good project to be involved in. We were delighted to help them with it. And it's super interesting.
Does it have a live streaming component to it on Friday?
It's not a live streaming, but it feels like it's appointment to view. In term, we kick it off at 7. There's new content, there's new interviews, there's new guests, there's new stylists, and new outfits, most importantly. And we had to, they really had to sort of make do with the environments in which they were producing content, living rooms with models who happened to be people that were there in their living rooms.
And I think she has her daughter participating.
That's right. Yeah. It's a family production.
She seems like she knows what she's doing, and the clothes were beautiful and unique, and ladylike. It was it's something that people would really like to wear to look beautiful, but still be presentable without being trashy in any way. You know what I mean? Like really nice, like something I would like my daughter to wear when she's that age.
They were really great clothes, and it was funny. It was so exciting to watch it because when it went live, it had a lot of publicity here. That day, one of the Irish radio hosts, Ian Dempsey, he had tweeted it out that it was happening, and it just that was a big push and lift that it got promotion wise. But it was amazing to watch it because all of the items were sort of one-offs. There were some that are donated by local stores that are multiple versions of them, but a lot of them were one-offs that were donated, and they just see them sold out. Wow. It was and it was all within 30 minutes. We were like, do we have enough content for this show? Because it's going to be on for the rest of the week, and then we'll have a new episode on Friday. But it's a really good project, and it's a really good way of bringing something like that into the TV world for the first time.
That's really great. Do you know how many people attended, or are you saying?
I don't know yet. I need to figure that out. I have to talk to the team. It's been it's very fresh. I wish I had that figure for you, but I don't actually have it yet. It did seem like a lot.
And do you think it was the community who normally would attend that event, or do you think it was open to the whole country, right? So I'm just kind of curious if it attracted a much wider national audience who never would have been at the live event. Or
it did, because it was the at-home audience is there. A lot of people were interested. Maybe they may not have gone to the events before, but they were like, oh, I'll sit down and have a glass of wine and see what they have. And it got great promotion within Lorraine's network, within stylists, stores as well. It really did get a lot of promotion. So we had lots and lots of people turn up, but it's not just, even though it is an appointment to view, it's not a one-off event. People can visit at any time and buy things and donate to Oxfam as well. That's
pretty cool. I did check it out. It was really nice, easy to navigate and to understand, and well laid out. Thank you. So good job. Let's move along, because I want to ask you about the new thing that's coming up in a minute, but I want to hear actually about the Ohio 24/7 app that you're doing with Sinclair. Right?
Yes, you had Scott on your show recently.
Yes, Scott Ehrlich. Mm-hmm. My hometown is Columbus, Ohio, so I have immediately downloaded that app.
Excellent.
Great already. So tell me a little bit about what that project is about. And how does Sinclair find you, in Ireland, or how did you guys get together?
I think, we knew Scott from a previous company that he worked at, the Q. So, yes. And we had done some work for them.
Yeah.
Yes. And so we did some work for him with Sinclair as well. So we're working on the Ohio 24/7 project with them, which is really very interesting around what interactive can be for local news. And I know when Scott was on your program, he was talking about, you know, how hyper local news is and how important that is to
this
communities.
This is the one, right? This one?
That
one?
I can't see.
That's okay. All right. I'll show it later.
Sorry, it was moving very fast.
Sorry.
So, you know, local news is super important, especially when there's big news stories breaking all the time. And we are working with the team in Columbus actually to figure that out and to figure out what does local news look like at scale, and how can you make it even more personalized for the viewer, personalized for the city. You know, it has local weather in it. It has the ability to, you know, move around through stories, personalize your own news feed. It's very, very cool.
If you want to talk to anybody in Columbus that lives there, let me know.
Okay.
Not a family.
That's great.
Okay.
They should download it, all of them.
I will tell them. Yeah.
But I like, you know, anything for interactive, as you know, we've been a champion of interactive for a very long time, but I think any sort of participative TV format, or, you know, something where there's an element of buying a product that's relevant to what you're watching, an element of discovering something that's really relevant to you in your local community, accessing community, talking to people, you know, that is what interactive is about, and that's what it enables.
I think video, you know, as you well know, you know, drives more engagement if there's an opportunity to engage. And I think that these OTT platforms, you know, they seem to be very limited still to just driving new content. I mean, what do you think about that? Have you ever spoken to any of these platforms? And then let's talk about the new version of your platform that's coming up. But have you ever had any conversations with these platforms about how or why they should become more interactive, or what kind of software would need to be downloaded to all these devices? I mean, there must be, conversations going on in the back end where press are not allowed necessarily, but I investigate this all the time. I ask those questions, but what kinds of conversations are you having?
It's very interesting to see. Like, I think, you know, with a big platform, you have to think about the widest reach possible and you know, having a consistent experience across it. I think that's very important, especially if you're charging a subscription. You want people to get the same experience on their laptop as they do on their phone, as they do, and a very high quality bar. So when you do introduce new interactive things, that you can see Netflix has been toying with it in different shows and different formats.
Yes.
To see, but they're very much looking at one aspect, which is the choose your own adventure sort of narrative. And I think that's a great starting point, and it works for a lot of shows, but it doesn't necessarily work for all shows. It really does depend on the genre that you're watching, and they've stayed away from live, you know, which I think is something that interactive is very intuitive with. They haven't got into sports yet. There's some decisions that they've made that they're like, we're not doing that yet, you know, until we've got all of these different markets.
I think they're missing a lot of money on the table. I think they're not catering to an audience that is looking for new ways to absorb that content. That with a gigantic movie library, it's only obvious that you could create gamification in there. It just seems like a lost opportunity.
I wonder, is it just something it's coming down the line? Because you've got Disney, which launched Disney Plus over here recently as well, and globally. And I was just super excited to see special features again. You know, it's like, yay!
All right.
Special features. But again, it's just like, there's nothing really new. How I'm consuming this content isn't new, but the quality is excellent. And I actually think it's a really good app myself. I like the user experience of the app. And I think that the next iteration, you'll start to see little things like stories being told that are being told with interactive first, rather than it being sort of tagged on.
Well, with all those kids as audience members, maybe you're right, it'll emerge there first. I want to hear about your Ediflo platform and how you are slimming it down to start giving other smaller or mid-size OTT operators the chance to launch channels. But before you go even down that route, I would say that I think there's an opportunity, and maybe you've already thought about it, to also sell to storefront owners. you know,
Like,
like
retail?
Square, like on Square or something
Oh,
like
yes.
that. Because, like I've been having conversations with people who are providing advertising to the local market, right? And because we're all potentially buying things from our local providers to support local business, or that they are all potentially new TV content makers to tell about their store, their community, their offerings, and it's commerce oriented. So I guess I'm advocating for that idea to you about, in a storefront environment, it would be cool to have something where you could create a video experience, maybe integrated with a platform like Square. Anyway, that's my plug. I'm not like an owner in any way or related to Square. I do use them. So it seems like an interesting idea. Anyway, so tell me a little bit about what you're doing.
Well, before I do that,
Yeah.
I just think, yes, you're right. I think overnight everyone's become a content creator, and that's the thing. And that people have kind of now are used to being on video the whole time as a format.
That's right. It's like
communication.
it's self-education about how to be a TV star.
Yes, it is. And then it's like, okay, what does my background look like? Damn it, I need to move these things around. So they're kind of getting a little bit of an education, which is very interesting to see. So I don't think it's too far removed to kind of think about how people can really start promoting their products in that way as well. It's that if you have some kind of content, like fitness has just exploded, right, as a genre, because there's no sports on TV. People need to fill it with something else. Yeah, but B, we need to work out. We can't, really go very far. So, if you have fitness content and you have a product that goes along with that, that makes absolutely sense. It makes a lot of sense that you would sell that along with the content. I
would love to be able to create my own interactive video channel that sells, something. In my case, we sell sponsorships or, or tickets to the event or who knows what, right? So, maybe it's for people who want to sell their art, right? Mm-hmm. Their own books. Anyway,
we both love art.
Or tell me a little bit about what you have planned for release.
Yes, so it's really a sort of lightweight, out of the box feature set of our platform Ediflo that is for small and medium companies to really just get up and running an OTT within days. Because this is exactly to your point about commerce. People really who haven't thought of OTT or video as a format that they can use to as a business format for themselves.
And they don't even know who to reach out to a lot of the time,
They do not, but like we have got a lot of inquiries, so it's good, that like some of them are coming our way. But yeah, I think, people are really accepting that video is the format that is here to stay as a business format, as well as entertainment. And if you can create content that is both entertaining and provides additional revenue at the same time, then that's fantastic. Just what we can help.
And you said which quarter is this coming out in?
Q3, so like September. Nicely timed with your next event.
The TVOT Leadership Conference?
Yeah, we'll have to do something.
Have to see a demo. But when you say like they would be able to get out onto OTT, do you somehow integrate to Roku, to Chromecast, to Apple? Do you provide all those relationships? And I mean, is it clickable, interactive? You set it up yourself, or is there still a layer you have to call the company? You've got to set up all the relationships. I mean, how easy is it?
I mean, it's very easy because what we're doing is replicating what we've done a 1,000 times over at this point. In that, we have a product that is a suite of apps really that you can bring to every platform, and it's something that we've perfected over time. We want it to be very quick. We want it to be very easy for people to use, so that if they, if they're not, if they haven't come to content creation before, that it's not something that's scary for them. And we also want it to be a great user experience for the viewers as well. And it will come with some interactive features, probably around on launch. I would say limited, but there will still be the products
like
type of thing.
What some examples?
So a really good example of the type of thing. There's another customer that I'd love to just talk to a little bit about.
Sure.
WaterBear who are also launching in the fall. Now, this is a very ambitious project, and they're based in the Netherlands, but they are launching it's an environmental activism platform. And the types of interactivity that they have, it's fantastic. They're just saving the planet. They have a wonderful team. They're just really a pleasure to know, to work with. And they are, they're doing things where you can donate to a cause, or you can participate in a cause. And they have, like, I think 60, 65 maybe NGOs on board. So they're really linking up people who are interested in helping projects with the actual projects themselves. So that's very cool. And a part of that is around travel, eco-travel, all of the different things that you can do, but like a lot of donations as well. So there's certain things that will fit. Like, we will focus on the genres that we've been focusing on. So news, shopping, media, and the interactive pieces that fit those types best.
How important or unimportant is community visibility within these platforms, these interactive apps? I mean, is it there yet for these?
When you say, is it there yet?
Well, I mean, it seems to me like this is a great opportunity to not only have the interactivity and the commerce and the content, but to allow people to emerge, to be more visible to each other, to gather around, create a community experience. And the success would obviously need to be driven by the owner of that app, right? The brand, if they have the wherewithal, the commitment, the drive. But it seems like it could be a great opportunity. Are you offering that kind of functionality right now, where people sign up, they have their names, they have their icons, their photos, whatever, their contact information, they can contribute? Or maybe that's another ramp up a little bit later? Or what's your vision?
It makes a lot of sense for news. I think community is a huge part of news. Especially with Ohio 24/7, it's a big part of local news, you know, and there's lots of, I think, you know, any really successful show or app has a community or builds a community. And when you're looking at doing something that is kind of niche, but you're doing it at scale, you will find that community. You have to, in order to make your app a success. So community is a huge part of it. Very, very important. I absolutely agree. What that looks like for different genres, different, and people may want to participate or may not want to participate. So it depends, but I think it's a huge factor of success for a lot of products that are launching.
I mean, I think some brands, you know, they want to like launch it and let it run and operate. They don't necessarily have the resources to really offer that kind of dedicated experience. But I think there's an opportunity there to create interactive TV as a community, you know, interactive TV and commerce as a community around that. Anyway, you know, I'm an advocate for
community
kind of thing. Community, for activity, for content. So what other projects either have you worked on? I know you worked with QVC, and
yes.
Any other projects you can hint at that are coming up?
I mean, we're incredibly busy. We're working a lot with Virgin Media as well in Ireland. They're like one of the main broadcasters here. And actually, they've done something very interesting with relation to COVID-19. They have been making their advertising slots available to small businesses so that they can highlight them, because, you know, small businesses have been challenged, especially anyone, you know, waiting for somebody to walk through a door, you know, to spend some cash with them. And I think there's a surprising amount of businesses that are still not online, which is amazing. But, you know, and Virgin Media have been making their advertising slots available to them, which I think is really, really cool. So that's a good call out for COVID-19. And, cool. You know, we're just really super busy on our product. Some of the stuff that we've been talking about is taking up a lot of everybody's time. And, you know, we're continuing to work with our customers as well on lots of different things that they're doing. And everybody's reimagining their projects at the moment because they have to think about the positive and largely positive, I have to say. Like, a lot of people have been, you know, experiencing more viewership, or, you know, people using their apps more often because they are present and can't, you know, need to entertain themselves in some way. So it's been largely positive. You know, some of our customers, the IFI in Dublin, has been amazing because they also have a cinema in Dublin. and they have had to close the cinema because you
Right.
can't operate one. So they're looking about how do they bring cinema online. So there's a lot of different sort of interesting projects that are in discussion at the moment that are around that sort of concept.
Well, here's something happening here, and I don't know if it's happening elsewhere, that some theaters do have a kind of community, right, around them. Some of these smaller art theaters. And I believe they are reaching out to those people, bringing them online and creating a video, a watch party experience with them. And they're able to buy tickets. Now, I think that sounds like a great idea.
It does.
And to create an interactive movie app, where people could support causes, they could have discussions, they could have film festivals.
Yeah, I mean, film festivals is another whole thing. Like theater, film festivals, lots of these companies are really trying to figure out, hey, how do we use this? How do we use this new technology and embrace it? Not be scared of it. So it's a very interesting time.
Well, sounds good. It sounds like you're busy. But one other question, you said you were getting a lot of inquiries. Are people asking to do something based on, like we were talking about, like their own product they're selling, or is it from TV entities, or is it from, like, what kinds of people or companies are coming to you in general, would you say, who are sort of proactively seeking help or researching it?
Interestingly, it's a mix. So it's a mix of people who are trying to bring something online that they were planning to do offline, or bringing an online version of something into their business. Some people are bringing plans forward that they had thought of about in the back of their head. They're like, we'd like to have done this, but we actually haven't had the time or chance to do it yet. Let's try it now. Why not? There's a very much an attitude of let's bring this crazy plan forward and try it out. Then there's also people who are, especially in genres like fitness and where there's lots of content already, they want to add value to that content and create something that's of value. And it's about figuring out, well, we have all this content, what do we do with it? How do we make it extra special? It's a real mix, Tracy, I have to say.
I try to send people your way and things like that. I know when sometimes. So I keep getting more inquiries, so I'll have to do some more introductions sometime.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Claire. I'm really happy for you. I hope you continue to be a proponent of interactive content. There are few and far between out there, so you're doing a good job. And I sound so objective here. You're doing a great job. Whatever.
Thanks, Tracy. No one ever tells me I'm doing a great job. It's great to hear.
You're doing a good job. Carrying the torch. Being proactive. Okay, thank you so much, Claire. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I was just thinking about sports, because when you asked that question about other inquiries and things like that, and sports is my background. Like, I came from sports TV, right? So I think that's a huge, very interesting challenge when you've got like sports events that are now coming back. How do you, without having crowds in the stadium, how do you actually make that an atmospheric, fun thing to watch? It's like it's a whole new content production.
So you need to be in Columbus, and you talk to my sister, because she's now taking her kid to baseball games every day. These little kids. Really? So maybe, I don't know. I mean, sports could be on a smaller scale. It's a story about local communities and how they're keeping their kids active. And how are parents keeping safe while the kids are playing baseball? I don't know. There's an idea.
Yeah, tribes and communities, such a big part of sports.
Yes, yes. Yeah. I don't know if it's a big moneymaker, but you never know. Sinclair might go for it. All right, thank you so much, Claire. I really appreciate your sharing your time and your expertise.
Oh, lovely to see you.
Your life with us. And Claire McHugh, CEO of Axonista. Reach out to her if you've got a project you'd like to see put online and made interactive and accessible and delivered to OTT. Thank you so much. I'm Tracy Swedlow. This is Televisionation. Please go to TVOTshow.com and sign up for our event coming up September 9th and 10th. And also nominate your peers. for our awards for leadership. That means you too, Claire. Awards for leadership coming up. We're going to be having inside our virtual event. So it's going to be glamorous and interactive. Okay, thank you, everybody.
I'm looking forward to it, Tracy. Thanks so much for having me on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello to all the TV of Tomorrow community.
Don't go away. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.